Hey and welcome to this video. Today I'm gonna show you how I wrote my latest track Crown of the Coast, inspired by the sound of Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds. Let's dive straight into it. First we'll listen to the full track and then I'm gonna show you exactly how I made it. Before we begin, here is a little disclaimer. This video is not a tutorial on how to copy the sound of Guild Wars 2 one-to-one, but rather how to take it as an inspiration, then build upon it and create something of your own inspired by the sound of it. When you want to learn something from the sound of a certain game, I think it's very important to first identify what makes it special, to identify the key elements of its style. With Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds, when listening to the main theme, there are a few things that I've noticed that I think are very important to its sound. First of all, the mix and the arrangement are not too oversaturated. They still feel very epic and grand, but it's not this in-your-face, overproduced kind of sound. Instead, the melody and the emotional qualities take priority in this sound. So my takeaway from this was to try and tone it down a bit. Secondly, there is quite a prominent use of Nordic instruments, or at least instruments that are typically associated with this type of sound in fantasy games. And lastly, orchestra is still very much the main character of this video game's theme, so I wanted to take it as a foundation and then build upon it. So with all of that in mind, I wanted to take these three elements, get inspired by them, and then add a couple of my own twists of the sound. Let's start with the intro. It's very simple like in the main theme. For this part I used intimate strings and frozen strings by Spitfire to create this string texture and ambience. And then I added a drone from LCOT just to create this low-end fullness to the sound. Soon after the beginning we go into this part with the solo violin and Irish flutes mixed, just to add this melodic aspect to the intro and to mix up the ambience a bit. Then I added a sound from a library that I absolutely love using, Atlantis by Zero G. I used a solo female vocal phrase from this library just to make the sound a bit more alive. And right after this part, we start building up a bit. So you already heard this dulcimer going along with the solo vocals. And now we also add a viola da gamba for this kind of mysterious fantasy sound. After that, I added a short break just to build into a bigger part. This is where the main part begins. The percussion is quite simple, but it has almost this tribal kind of quality to it, and it drives the track forward. I also used a pitch down log drum on every second beat. Another thing that's very important for this kind of pulse on this section is toggle harper that I took from Groth, one of my favorite libraries of all time. Then in order to make the sound a bit fuller, I used Ascent for the pad and also a very simple sub bass on the bottom just to further beefen up the sound. Then we go into an even bigger part, which I would say is the climax of the entire track. There you can hear that brass and the choir take a bit more action. For the choir I used Oceania by Performance Samples, which is one of my favorite libraries for choir. And brass is the mixture of Cine Brass and Performance Samples Pacific Brass. But the one element that truly makes this part alive, in my opinion, is again Atlantis by Zero G, and I used the Heroic patch on this one. And there, as you can see, I used Adaptive Legato feature, which just helps the library adapt to the speed of the legato transitions in your melody. The finishing touch for this part was Omen, which is a library of this ethnic singing, mostly Mongolian throat singing, and I used one of the patches to create this sort of drone. Because it's just a short orchestral sketch, I wanted to keep the intensity in the outro and actually build towards the very end, just to suggest that there is more to explore in the sound. And that's pretty much it. I hope you liked this little breakdown of my latest track, and I hope that it inspired you to create something new. If you liked this video, then leave a like and consider subscribing, because it really helps my channel grow and me as a composer. Thank you for watching, and I see you on the next one. Cheers.